it's kind of been the story of our season so far. So, to win the game on home ice to clinch, I don't think we could have written it any better.
That sounded a little bit after all the celebrations from Nick Suzuki. Game 82 last night. Canadiens clinch with a 4-2 win on the Carolina Hurricanes. Up next, the Washington Capitals, Montreal Canadiens, round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Campbell versus Gallo. I'm Sean Campbell. He's Mitch Gallo. Are the Canadiens a dangerous team in the playoffs? Will they be a tough out? Could they cause some havoc in the Eastern Conference? They will be an underdog the entirety of the playoffs. Round 1, round 2, round 3. If you want to start talking about they will be an underdog any series that they are in.
So I was taking a look earlier today at misojo.com and looking at the Stanley Cup odds. Now, when I pull up the app on my phone and I go to the futures and take a look at the Stanley Cup odds, right? You have to win outright. And here I have Florida. This is in order of who the favorites are.
Yep.
Okay? Florida, Colorado, Dallas, Vegas, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Washington, Toronto, Carolina. Now, Washington, Toronto, Carolina are all the same odds. Tampa Bay, LA, Ottawa. Then I have to click a button that says show more. So if I click that button, show more, It brings up the Devils, Wild, Blues, and Canadiens. And the Canadiens tied with the St. Louis Blues at the worst odds at plus 5,000.
Plus 5,000.
Win the Stanley Cup. So you're right, they're going to be an underdog all the way through.
Yeah, all the way through. But why don't we start with the Washington Capitals? This is a team that you have used the word
fraudulent.
But do you feel that way against the Montreal Canadiens team? The Capitals are a very good team, a well-coached team, a defensive team that has pinpoint offense that has struck when they needed it. This is a tougher out than I think a lot of people think. Oh, yeah, they're first place, but it's not the Rangers, it's not Toronto, it's not Tampa, it's not Florida. A lot of Habs fans talking to me already, it's not one of the top teams. It is the top team. I think it's going to be incredibly tough for the Canadiens to face the Capitals.
Well, we can also go by the track record of the two regular season between the two teams. Not that it always means anything, but Canadiens...
It's an indicator of some sort.
Washington 2-0-1 against the Canadiens. So they lost one of their games in overtime to Montreal.
Ooh, overtime winner for the Canadiens in this series? Let's go.
Yeah,
Vic will be happy.
So they played 3 times. Washington won 2 of the 3. The only Canadiens win was 3-2 overtime.
How many times did they play in each city?
I believe it was twice in Washington, once here.
These are little factors that I'm just trying to get.
In the history of hockey, they've met just once in the playoffs. That was 2010. We know how that one went.
Halak!
That was the Halaka show.
Yes.
But Campbell...
Habs will shellac the Caps. Editor headlines.
I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but I don't have a great feel about the Canadiens in this series.
It's going to be tough.
I don't think it's a good matchup either. It's not necessarily where Washington finished in the standings. It's just how certain teams match up against each other, and I feel like Washington is a bigger, more imposing team, and they're going to play the game in the trenches, and that might be difficult for some of the Montreal Canadiens players.
Okay, so there's a couple things here. One, I have that tough feeling because if the Canadiens were able to clinch earlier, I think they need as much rest as possible. I told you I would even say take Friday off from practice. This team needs to rest, and I hope that they're resting today because they're back at practice. And the fact that for them they're not starting Saturday or Sunday, and we have the very likely of a Monday start for the Canadiens, is beneficial to them. Next, playoff performers on the Habs. I believe Nick Suzuki is one. Do you believe Nick Suzuki is a playoff performer?
Sure.
Okay. That is good news because one of your best players is someone that performs in the playoffs. It's never good if one of your best players is someone that has shied away in the playoffs before. Second, they do have some depth that you say, we always say this about Josh Anderson. There's guys who get you in the fight, and then the guys that Josh Anderson in the playoffs is someone that I can't wait to see. I know he's banged up. It's the other problem, though, is he's banged up, and the other guy that has shown that he knows how to play playoff hockey, So Armia has been a great playoff performer. And I'm not even talking about goals and assists, just doing what you need from penalty kill, grinding it out, fourth line. He's banged up. So that lies on players like Lane Hudson. I believe he's going to be a playoff performer because there's nothing that has ever made me doubt him. What about Juraj Slafkovsky? If he plays like he did in the second period, I'm in.
Well, hold on a second.
What about,
can I rewind a little?
Yeah, sure. I'm going like player by player. Please jump in.
I don't know. I don't know about Lane Hudson. I haven't seen him play in a playoff game, and lately, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like he's taking bigger hits lately than he did earlier in the season.
Well, I think
got smashed last night against the boards, and over a course of a 7-game playoff series with a team like Washington, I'm not saying he can't perform well. I don't know. I would not write it as a slam dunk.
Okay, so the reason why I said he's given me nothing to doubt that he will be a playoff performer. I don't know either. Guy's never played in the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, he hasn't played, but he does give me a reason to doubt. It's why we doubted him going into this season, and why people doubted him at the World Juniors, and why people doubted him in college hockey, and along the steps of the way, he's been able to prove people wrong. But in the playoffs, his size is still going to be a question mark going in.
Yeah, so him getting hit, and that will be a game plan. That's why I told you the rest I thought was so important going into Washington. Because we saw going into the Four Nations break who was one of the players that was struggling. When the Canadiens limped into the Four Nations break with 1 win over 9 games, that was probably the worst stretch for Lane Hudson this year. Because he was fatigued.
Right.
He's fatigued at the end of the season. Last week, he's not the only one. I'm not saying he played bad hockey, but you could see that fatigue. He normally wouldn't get hit like that last night. But the guy's exhausted. So to me, I hope they have as much rest as they can before Monday. But the reason why I say that I expect him to be a playoff performer, because he has silenced the doubters since he's entered the league. And he's given me nothing to believe that he won't be.
Still a question mark in my mind.
Sure it is. I think I named you a couple guys that have performed in the playoffs like Armia and Anderson. I think they're question marks because of the injuries that they're holding. Sam Montembeault is a question mark when it comes to playoff performers. So there is a lot of X factor here for the Canadiens. So I guess the question is, can they... Now, you said it's a tough matchup against the Capitals, but if they start getting into that role, they start playing the cardiac Canadiens, they get the save, they have a power play that starts clicking a little bit better, a PK that can stop a power play. This is a top 10 PK right now. That's how you win playoff series. It's not how many goals, it's how many timely goals you have. And the Canadiens have shown that they stay in games and they know how to be clutch in clutch moments. That's one of the reasons why they made the playoffs. So I think that ability could cause some havoc for the Canadiens against the Capitals. Could. But I'm not 100% sure. Still want to kind of get a feel. I can't wait. We're going to be at practice tomorrow in Brassard.
The one thing you have to do if you're the Canadiens is you kind of have to take advantage of the fact that you are such a heavy underdog and nobody's expecting you to win. So that means that all the pressure is on Washington.
Absolutely.
So how can you have that pressure mount? You have to you have to steal a game or two, and then you have to plant the seed of doubt. And if you can plant the seed of doubt, then all of a sudden, and you have Washington playing scared, worried, under
changing
pressure,
their goalies, whatever you do.
Who knows what it's going to be? Then yes, you can open up the door. But if I just look at the two teams on paper, Washington's a better team.